Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video in my course vlog series. Today I have the honor to be playing the lovely Tobacco Road golf course in Sanford, North Carolina. This course, after playing it, is probably one of my favorite courses in North Carolina, for the fact that there are so many crazy approach shots and tee shots and just all the views and mounds around the course. You can see that's the first hole you have to hit through that opening. So let's get started with the video. So you guys did see my tee shot there. If you couldn't tell, it is raining, so I did bleed that one just a little off to the right. So the second shot, I have 280 yards, and I'm just trying to lay up here with an 8-iron. Unfortunately, I did block this one just a touch. And this is my first time playing the course, so I really had no clue where to aim on a lot of these holes. So you can see my dad's up there watching the ball, and we had no clue where this ended up. And we did find it. Unfortunately, it is in the native area, just to the right of the fairway. So, like I was saying, the reason I was out in North Carolina is because I was playing in a tournament a couple days after this. So this was my first round in North Carolina of the week, and probably wasn't good to be playing for the first time in the rain, but anyway, we had to deal with it. So hit that third shot, not a bad third shot, got it just off the green. I have a 35-footer for birdie and just rolled it past. These greens are actually rolling really nicely for someone who plays or actually lives in California. Playing on Poana greens, having to adjust to Bermuda greens was difficult, but these are probably some of the best greens I've ever putted on, just for the fact that just because they roll so smoothly. So I did make par there. Now on to the second hole, 392-yard par 4, slight dogleg right. So your ideal aim point, it's hard to see with the rain, but there's a big bushy tree, which is literally right between my body and the club. So that's a good spot to aim at for any portion of this green. Unfortunately, because I'm not used to playing in the rain, I did not bring rain gear. Only had one rain glove. And yeah, I was just not very prepared. So I did block that one out to the right again. Club kind of slipped in my hand. So didn't hit a terrible shot, just ended up in the waste bunker. And yes, all these bunkers are considered waste bunkers. So I am able to ground my club and take practice swings. And you won't see me taking too many practice swings out of the bunkers just because it was something I wasn't comfortable with. But ended up having to take a few. So second shot here, 134 yards out from a back left pin location. Just trying to make solid contact. And I did make solid contact, and unfortunately just left this one a touch out to the right. There was a little bit of room right, so I knew I was going to be safe there. The worst thing I could do there was chunk it, so I was glad to just make good contact and get that ball out there. So third shot here, it's just 12 yards from the pin, a little chip and run here with a 58-degree wedge. And this is something I've had to work on, and it's something I've actually gotten better at since playing this course. I've had to really start learning how to hit clubs other than 58 around the green. So on a shot like that, playing like a pitching wedge and just letting it kind of hitting a bump and run, just instead of trying to fly it there, definitely would have been a smarter play. I did play, and this was about a month ago, maybe a little over a month ago that I played this course. I actually have played it since then, and definitely did a little bit better than I did when I played this course for the first time. And that's the thing with Tobacco Road, is there are so many weird angles and massive slopes that you really have to play this course multiple times in order to get to know the course. And there are some courses where you can play once and be fine, but I would definitely say for Tobacco Road, you have to play this course probably 4 or 5 times to find out everything you need to know about this course. So tee shot here on the third hole. Pin was back left again, and I'm just trying to carry it over this big ridge in the back center of the screen. And unfortunately, this ball hit on the top of the ridge and rolled to the opposite side. So really unfortunate that this ball rolled all the way back down the slope. So now I have a very long birdie putt here. And you can see in front of me, compared to where I was just standing and where my ball is, there's definitely a difference in the color of the grass. And that's essentially just the grain. So if you play a lot on Bermuda greens, you would know that the darker the grass, the slower the putt's going to be because it's going to be into the grain. And when it's shiny, it's going to be downgraded a little bit quicker. And I was still trying to adjust to that. I did get better as the day went on, but definitely didn't adjust very well for that putt right there. So now I have about 12-footer for par, downhill. And even with the rain and how wet the greens were, these greens are still running at about probably 11 or 12 on the stint meter. So, I mean, when you had a downhill putt, especially when it was down grain, you were going to have a tough time stopping that ball. So here we go for par. Just trying to roll this one in, play a little bit of break on it, and just missed on the low side. So, fortunately, another bogey there. So, 2 over after 3. Not the start I wanted, but kind of the start I was expecting, seeing that it was first time playing this course and playing it in the rain. Here we go, 4th hole. Second par 5 of the day, 525-yard par 5. And this hole is a straight dogleg left once you get over for your second shot. So really just trying to get this ball anywhere on the fairway, you're going to be fine. And I was able to hit that one pretty well. Right down the side of the fairway, which is really what I needed.
What is that? No clue.
After being 2 over through 3. So, second shot, 193 yards out. I am hitting a 6-iron. And there's a slope just to the right of the screen that actually brings it down to the green. So I'm trying to play it off that slope and let it run in. And unfortunately, I just got a little out ahead of this one. And I missed the slope by only probably 3 or 4 yards. So, a little frustrating. You can see how wide the fairway is. And that's one of the things, like, Tobacco Road doesn't get you with how narrow the fairways are. The fairways are pretty generous. The real thing is the greens and all the slopes around them. That's what makes this course very difficult. But it's also what makes Tobacco Road Tobacco Road. So here we are. I'm just off the green, putting for eagle. And you can see that hill I was talking about. And unfortunately, didn't quite adjust for the hill. I thought it was going to be a little bit slower going down that hill. And unfortunately, it was not, and I hit it through the green. So, very poor attempt to eagle now, so now about a 20-footer for birdie. And just trying to roll this one well. Seeing that the greens were rolling pretty pure, I felt like I could still make this putt. I hit it at the perfect pace and just overread the break. So, slightly disappointing to walk off with a par, but still trying to build some momentum after the first 3 holes. You can just see from here that slope just to the right of the green how steep it is, and if you catch it, it chases all the way down to the green. Here on the 5th hole, 333-yard par 4, but it's only 280 to the pin, so you can play this ball out right and just hit an iron. But I decided to try to hit driver and go at this pin, or at the green. I actually had probably to wait about 10 minutes for the group ahead of us to clear in order to do this. And that's got to be one of the worst feelings in golf. When you hold up your group because you're trying to drive a green and you just make a terrible swing. You can see I'm very frustrated with that one. Just really kind of just annoyed that I made my group wait that long. So I did end up in the waste bunker short right of the screen. So just have 63 yards here, trying to get up and down for birdie. And the sand was really soft, but you can see the walls of this bunker are almost rock. So just trying to pick this one cleanly. And I did, and this one came out with a lot of spin. So I thought this ball was really going to release out, but it came out with a lot of spin, and there's a false front on the screen that I was hitting over. So I got lucky that ball did not roll back down it. So now I have about a 10-footer here for my birdie. And this would be a great birdie because the 5th hole here is definitely one of the more difficult holes on the course. So walking off with birdie here would be a very, very nice feeling. So just trying to roll this one in the right side, and it just didn't break. Really thought I rolled it well, and just unfortunately I did not read the break correctly. So I'll go ahead and tap in for a par. Still building some momentum, trying to keep the round going. So now onto the 6th hole, 143-yard par 3, hitting a pitching wedge to a back right pin. And this green is probably the exact opposite of the last par 3. The last par 3 had a super long green. This green, if you were on the right side, was only about 10 yards deep. And yeah, I did chunk it, so didn't even get to the green. So now I have a 15-yard bunker shot. And I was really concerned about this one staying on the green, just because of how narrow it was, but that ball just hopped over the hole and stopped about 3 feet from the pin. So I would definitely say that was one of my better shots of the day. So, like I said, I have about a 3-footer here for par. And really, I had seen a couple of different putts before mine, and they all broke in different directions. So I really was very confused about how this putt was going to break. So you can see I lined it up, checked my line, didn't like it, and now I'm going back to line it up again. So 3-footer, just trying to get up and down. If I could make this putt, really keep some momentum going onto the next hole. And I just tapped this one and rolled it right in the center. So a very good par there after a bad tee shot. So keeping up the momentum onto the 7th hole, 411-yard par 4, downhill. The fairway runs out at about 324, but it plays 14 yards downhill, and the entire fairway runs down to the bottom. So I hit this one very nicely, about as well as I could hit it. And you'll see in a second where this ball actually ended up. And yeah, so you can see this is the second tier of the fairway. My ball got all the way down to the bottom. And the reason I didn't put my camera closer to where my ball was, because the pin is just over that bunker. So you wouldn't be able to see the flag from down there. I could barely see the top of it from where I was.
Over that wall of a bunker.
I also thought this would be a pretty cool camera angle, giving you guys a little bit more of an overview of what this second shot looks like. So like I said, I had 92 yards out here. Just trying to throw this one close, and I hit it pretty well. Unfortunately, it did take a hard bounce off the backside of that bunker. But it did stay on the green. So I was ultimately pretty happy with that shot. So if you guys don't know, Tobacco Road is a fairly new course in North Carolina. Not new in the sense that it's like a modern design. It's still got a lot of old school design features with it, such as all the false fronts. But it definitely brings together some of the old school features and new school features. Sorry about the audio lapse there, guys. I had to stop recording the audio for a second. So that's why the audio is going to be a little messed up there. Anyways, just missed that birdie putt on the 7th hole. So I will go ahead and tap in for another par to stay at 2 over par. And it's tough because I'm rolling it well and I'm hitting good shots. I'm just not getting anything to drop. But that's golf, so just gotta keep grinding along. Now onto the 8th hole, 165-yard par 3 downhill. I'm hitting a 9-iron. And as you can tell, it has stopped raining. But in North Carolina, once it stops raining, you're not out of the woods. It gets very humid. And not having played in humidity very often, I forgot to take into the fact that the humidity was going to make the ball not travel quite as far. So you can see that ball did come up quite a way short of the green. And second shot here, trying to play it low and didn't check the green. It was into the green. where it was landing, so kind of just hit and killed it. So that's one of the things that I'll have to get better at for the future. But I think that'll be pretty easy to get used to, just being able to, or just having to check a little bit more, be a little bit more thorough with it. So here we are for par on the 8th hole. Left myself about a 12-footer. So this is a left to right breaking putt, and I'm just trying to match up speed and line. I haven't been doing that great all day, and I don't know how that ball did not go in. From my angle, it looked like at least half the ball went over the edge of the cup. So, a little unfortunate there, but it's only a bogey, so it could have been worse. So, heading on to the 9th hole. And you actually see, this is a view from the 9th tee box of that last hole. You can see how big that green is, and with all the slope in it. And now we pan over to the 9th hole. And 9th hole, the second shot is probably one of the coolest approach shots on the course. Probably the coolest on the front 9. So here we go, 427 yards. I'm hitting a driver here. Fairway does narrow at about 275, but course was soft. Ball wasn't quite traveling this far, so I felt like just hitting a solid drive would be perfect. And I hit that one just how I wanted to. Gonna just end up in that narrow section, which is gonna leave me a really good number into this pin. So I want to show you guys the amount of slope from the fairway to the green. So this is my dad hitting his second shot. I'm sitting a good 40 yards ahead of him, and you can see just how much slope there is. Here's another good view at it from my ball. So I have 100 yards in, playing uphill about 7 or 8 yards, so I'm hitting a 54 degree, trying to place about 110. And one of the cool things about Tobacco Road is with all these crazy approach shots, they have to have bigger flag sticks. So on this hole, it was a 12-foot tall flag stick, and I could still barely see it from the fairway. You see, there's a look down at the fairway, and you'll see in a second how tall that flag stick actually is. There it is. So it's almost double the size of a standard flag stick, and I could still barely see it from the bottom of the hill. So I have about a 25-footer here for birdie. Cool thing about this hole, especially with the second shot, everything slopes to the center of the screen. So you could throw it a little left or a little right, and you'd still end up in the center. So I will just leave that putt just short, but we'll tap that one in. So I will shoot a +3 on the front 9, 38. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys for part 2.